Hello, everybody. Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, here with you, joined by my partner, Jeremy Schroeder, the ruler of the airways. We are Law Dog Sports. It is the Weekend Big Show coming to you here on the regular now for low this many 3 months. I think we got back.
Has it been 3 months?
In April, I believe.
Yeah.
So look at us that's called a streak.
Would you look at that? That's right.
So Jeremy, how are you doing this week, buddy?
I'm doing okay. It's been a bit of a hectic week, but I made it to Friday.
Yeah, I could tell it'd been a hectic week for you just by your presence or lack thereof on Twitter, and and that's fine. We all have those times, but I started to reach out and check and see how you're doing, but then I thought, no, he's fine, or I'd hear something. So
I was fine, just busy.
Yeah, exactly. So it has been a busy week, as Jeremy. One thing about this part of the year, there's not a lot going on actual results wise. We did have a debacle of the home run derby on Monday night, but All-Star game always kind of is that turn, kind of the turn for me where you're, you get past the All-Star game and you can kind of start really prepping for not only football, but playoff baseball and pennant chases and things like that. So it's always been an interesting time for me. And really also, it seemed like there for about 5 years in the 2000s, my family and I always seemed to hit our vacation time on All-Star weekend. Like we would go on off time, because back then I, had days off that were kind of different, or we would never hit our vacation spot on a weekend. It was always roll in on a Monday or Tuesday and then, enjoy the week instead of dealing with people. Weekenders, because
the crowds.
It was generally the Texas coast, down at Mustang Island, Corpus Christi stuff. But it seemed like there for about 5 years we were staying, and generally at night when kids are winding down and stuff, the All-Star game would be on. It's sentimental to me, and that's the great thing about baseball is it brings out a sentimentality in those especially those of us our age range.
Yeah, I didn't watch it this year. I'm sorry. Curmudgeonly, I was busy, and I know that I could have found a way to keep track of it, but it just wasn't that important to me. I really wish I would have seen the Ingrid Andress performance Monday Night Live.
That was
up there with Fergie.
I caught. She
blew Fergie away. Yeah,
and,
there with. I'm sorry, Roseanne Barr.
Roseanne Barr. That was intentional. She was making a feminist point, and that was the great thing about the late '80s is there were some voices that were throwing out some feminist virtues, but didn't go over well nonetheless back in the day. And then the Carl Lewis national anthem is just. Let me ask you this. I'm gonna bring it around for y'all. Let me ask you this: what's more iconic, Carl Lewis's debacle of singing the national anthem, or Charlie Steiner's reaction that night on SportsCenter when he cracked up and then he threw out words by Francis Scott off key?
It was obviously any time that our rotund friend from the Oklahoma City radio market sang the national anthem.
Oh yeah, he was a singer, wasn't he?
Yeah, actually, I could never figure that out, and then he sang, and he's actually pretty good.
I was gonna say he's
like my whole worldview is shattered.
I remember back in the day he sang at Mark Rogers' wedding. Now I don't know if that.
Yeah. Did he have the cigarette and the whole lounge lizard thing going?
He was he was cleaning up his act back then, because you remember he was the first virtue signaler, because he left one station for the other in the 90s because he wasn't gonna do remotes at the Valley of the Dolls and Sugars or whatever.
Oh wow!
Back in the
was that KNOR?
well, it was the original W. It was the first
Oh, okay.
WLS. It was
Yeah, the AM signal. Yeah, before
because
they.
I caught on to sports radio in '94,
Hmm.
and really, um, now I tell you this much: I can remember in '89 catching KTOK, and for some reason they had was it Verplank? Uh, who was who was a big OSU golfer in the late '80s? Was it
Bob Tway.
no, not quite that far
It
back.
might have been Plank.
I think
I
it was
didn't think
Verplank.
he's.
He was on the air, and it might have been Al Eschbach's show back in the day because late '80s. I think he was like, on KTOK. But for some reason, I was a new father. I was driving home from a part-time job at a bank, and I just flipped on the radio, and I'm scanning stations, and I find Mike Steely's kick Barry Gibbs kick-ass rock and roll football team. And if there's anything in my life that's been considered radio gold, that would be it. Because Steelman, he rolled out the Gibbs impersonation, he threw out a Pat Jones impersonation, and all
They
edited.
have a Mike Trepp show up and do Switzer.
Yeah, no, yeah, uh, yeah. Who used to do Switzer?
I think it was Mike Trepp's.
Really? Well, so anyways, that was part of the Bill Simonson show on KTOK back in the day. And so I'm listening to people talk sports. I'm like, I like sports. So, and then that's when I found the original WWLS. And this was their lineup back in the day. It was Dan Lutz, the disabled gentleman that used to be on a fixture on sports radio. He had a morning show where he just kind of basically read scores and took some calls. And it was, he did not bloom until he became Traber's sidekick.
Yeah.
Then it was I can't remember if it was Tony Sellers or it was Bob Berry Jr.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Bob Berry
PBJ was
Jr.
on
was
there.
a regular on the morning, and then Tony Sellers, and then James Hale, and then Traber, and then Eschbach. So it was a full day on the old WWLS. But then, and I remember that's when Traber used to do his yell. He would,
I do remember the siren yell.
the
Yeah. Once they moved over to the FM signal, I don't think he was physically capable of doing that
No,
any
no,
longer.
he had enjoyed too many of the joys of upper middle class life by that time. But
Sure.
but anyways, those were golden eras in sports radio, and just looking back on that, and how'd we even go down that road? Because I was gonna the All Star Home Run Derby.
Yes.
Yeah, Traber used to sing. So when they became
Yeah, that was it.
the sports animal. And Mark Rogers, he had been putting out the pigskin preview for a couple of years, and he jumped in with them. Seemed like, but Steelman was just Hall of Fame radio deluxe, and Simonson moved on, did some national stuff, but he might actually be up in Tulsa or somewhere around up there. But so, anyways, the home run derby, the Ingrid Andress, she checked herself into rehab the next day because she claimed she was drunk. And if you notice my tweet on the old X said, better to claim substance abuse and dependency, or better to claim substance abuse than lack of talent. So,
Well, I mean, she's been nominated for 4 Grammys. They just don't give those things away, do they?
I
Does
mean,
she have? I mean, she's got to have some sort of talent, right?
no, in this day and
Are you
time,
sure? I
you
mean,
you
we. What do you mean this day and time? We grew up listening to Springsteen, and then he can't sing a lick.
well, I mean, but what you heard was what you heard. This gal can go in a studio and they can make her sound flawless.
Oh, well, that's auto tune, pal.
Well, even yeah, I mean it. I watched a documentary one time. I think it was called "Don't Let the Music Die" or something like that. It was on IFC back when they did something besides Portlandia. And so, anyways,
Think they do X Files too.
yeah. So, anyways, they had the producers of this documentary got with a guy who was a songwriter, and he was just kind of he wasn't necessarily a pop songwriter, but he kind of had a finger on the pulse. He concocts a little ditty on his acoustic guitar, just something about, I'm coming over tonight, your mom's not home, or your parent, something this and that, little tawdry teen bop anthem. He concocts the tune right there on the spot. Then they
It
take
sounds like I'm on fire.
by Springsteen.
Yeah.
Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Uh,
Yeah. That's
so,
a weird
anyways,
song.
concocts this whole pop tune ditty. They find a model who has no singing ability at all. They put her in studio. They fix everything up. They market it. She basically had a pop hit ready to roll, and she's a nothing nobody as far as the vocals concerned. But anyways, Ingrid Andress, hope you get clean. Hope you get some voice lessons and life turns up for you. But here's the thing, and I'll go on record as saying this: I'm dead tired, Jeremy. And when I say dead tired, I mean dead tired of wispy voiced white girls taking old classics and turning them into Jewel. I mean, it's just pathetic. It's everywhere. It's on ad campaigns and
Hey,
advertising.
that started when Faith Hill covered Janis Joplin.
That was bad. Yeah,
That
that
was real
that was
bad.
bad. That was pretty milk toast. But no, and you know what's funny is when you and I worked at the same place, there was a guy that worked out there for the the primary employer that I worked for, not the department, but the city entity. And he was responsible for booking the concourse entertainment. And I actually popped off to him one time. I said, "So, what little wispy sounding white girl with an acoustic guitar you bringing in today?" he,
Phoebe Buffay.
he turned he turned around and goes, "You've noticed, huh?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Bring back the guy with the piano that plays the jazz. That would give this airport a whole different class level." But
That older fellow with the guitar was pretty good.
was it Edgar Cruz?
Huh? At the airport?
Yeah. No, he wouldn't play
No,
the airport.
no,
I,
no,
I
no,
didn't
no,
remember that.
no.
I remember a guy with a piano, and he would play some jazz tunes and different things. But
Yeah.
the minute I see some little teenage white gal walk in with a tank top and a bunch of beads and her acoustic over her shoulder, I know it's going to be
Don't forget the nose ring.
the nose ring and an arm sleeve. It's going to be a bad day. So, anyways,
Sure.
well, let's get to sports. We were kind of talking about the home run derby. Bobby Witt Jr., man, that guy was just about there. Teoscar Hernandez had a whale of a home run derby, but Jeremy, I'll be the first to admit I don't follow Kansas City Royals baseball the closest, and looking to see if Dan Narva jumps in here. Oh, we do have some Bill Simonson, aka Huge. He's in Michigan now. Imagine that.
No. Of course he is.
uh, Dwight Twillie's "I'm on Fire" is far better Oklahoma-based art. Dwight Twillie. That name sounds familiar, but I can't go there. But so, anyways, AL Central. I'm not the biggest proficionado, but it is. And I saw a tweet about this from Super 70 Sports. It is really odd to hear the name Bobby Witt and it be related to hitting. I mean,
Right.
it
Yeah.
should be it should be related. That name will, in my mind, always be related to 20 walks and 14 Ks. Or so just
Yes.
fireballer without the best control. And just I loved Bobby Witt though. He was
Yeah. What happened there? Most of these guys, these juniors, like Fernando Tatis Jr. They're just better versions of their father.
yeah
Vlad
yeah.
Jr. Was
Well,
it
they're kind of
the Biggio kid?
they're
Huh?
kind of the Bronny Jameses of baseball.
Yeah, but they're good ball players.
No.
But you know what I mean. Most of these kids grow up, doing what dad did because that's what dad knew.
Oh yeah, and dad got them the training and the repetitions that the dad didn't get. I mean, I still say this: there's kids playing with rocks and sticks in the Dominican Republic that could come to the United States as juveniles and just dominate. But that doesn't go over well with the guy in front of me in line at Academy buying $400 worth of
Sure. Yeah,
training
you know
for
that.
his 5-year-old. So, but it's just funny, saying that about this generation because, like you said, Biggio's kid, Dante Bichette's kid, now Bobby Witt's kid. I mean, the nepotism is just running amok in baseball.
Yeah, because they all suck, right? No, they're all good ball players. I mean,
No,
they made it because they're good.
hey, and kudos to baseball for having a leg up on the other sports, obviously, in getting, you know, if you're a Nepo baby, you're going to have to get out and prove it. You're not going to, you
Well,
better
yeah, if you can't
shine.
hit the
And
minors, you're never going to get up.
baseball's who would have thought baseball's the ultimate meritocracy in
Oh
professional
wow.
sports? Think about that.
Well, yeah, yeah, because the minor league system does a good job of
Yeah.
weeding out guys that can't play.
Well, because it's established that they are a league that you can be the number one draft pick and you are going to go the minors. You may
Sure,
train at spring camp with the big league team, but they're going to get a look
yeah.
at you.
It'd be
And
like Brian Taylor when he was drafted number one overall by the Yankees. I don't think he threw a pitch in the majors.
you remember Vernon Maxwell, the running?
Yeah, the Midwest City kid.
Yeah, he got drafted by the Yankees,
Uh
but
huh.
also committed to the University of Tennessee, and he took the Yankees. Uh,
Yep. And as soon as he uh, got around a little bit, they found the holes in his swing, and that
oh
was a
yeah,
wrap.
yeah, and
That's what they
they're
do.
going to do
That's what they do.
exactly. But he did try to come back and get on. I think he tried to come back and go to OU in the '90s, but
He
his
did.
skill set had diminished a bit. So, but anyways, so All Star Game always signals a turn into the preseason of football, and camps are reporting. It's just I don't want to say it's the most wonderful time of the year, Jeremy, but it's like a new horizon most years.
Well, it was a great week to have SEC media days. If you had any time at all to, sit at home on a Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday and watch it.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I didn't have that chance, but I tried to keep up with as much as I could. I'm going to say this, and I've got a rundown list here as we transition from the All Star Game. Which congratulations to the American League for winning that. Wasn't there a streak back in the '90s where the National League won a lot, but it doesn't seem like that's held over.
I think it was in the 2000s where the NL won it every year.
Yeah.
But now I guess they're not using that to determine home field advantage in the World Series any longer.
Apparently, the fashion faux pas on the uniforms was noticeable by
They should go back to wearing their
yeah.
regular uniforms, home and road. Just stop.
You see the tweet that showed the clip from the '94 All Star Game and the starters that were all.
Like 26 of them were Expos. Yeah. Man,
And I
that
forgot about
Expos team was good.
Marquise Grissom.
Oh
That
yeah, he could. That guy could play. He
he
had
was,
good years with the Braves too.
if not for Kenny Lofton, he might have been no, considered
Best center
top
fielder. Yeah.
center fielder, and he was leadoff, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or
Hey, don't forget about Andy Van Slyke, pal.
Andy Van Slyke. Didn't he have a rough up with Bonds?
Probably.
Yeah,
Who didn't?
everybody did. But anyways, let's go to switch over and All Star Game's over. I tell you what, we will do, and I'll tease this. I'm going to go hard and try to see if John Moore from the Texas Rangers baseball podcast can come on next week, as we'll be nearing the trade deadline, and we've hit the midpoint, and it'll be great to catch up and see what the Rangers are looking at doing. This is probably time to start making a divisional push, because I think the wild card is going to be a tenuous thing in the American League. So we'll see.
Yeah, I love this time of year. My team, my Cubs, will trade any productive player they have on their roster for prospects.
Those draft
What a
picks,
time to be alive.
Jeremy. Presty's made a legend out of it. Let's get to SEC Media Days real quick, and it was the inaugural SEC Media Days for the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma. Old school SEC with new coaches like Kalen DeBoer. Jeff Lebby had his first SEC Media Days. But I got to say, it seems like, like the time when Costanza wanted to make the great entrance with the beautiful date, and Kramer ended up stealing his thunder. It seemed like Quinn Ewers kind of did the same thing with that cowboy hat. The Texas Longhorn quarterback rolls in with a hat that some have accused of being backwards. I don't think it was backwards, but I think it was definitely an odd shape. So, anyways, but
The kids wear them funny these days.
Yeah, I mean, and I would be the last. I would be the last one to try to riddle figure out, what 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 all that would consist of. But I mean, looking at the coverage, looking at the statements, OU, and we'll fixture on Oklahoma because they are the flagship institution, so to speak, which seemed to catch one Texas A&M coach in a bit of water. But Phil Steele's got Oklahoma picked eighth, and that's uncharted territory for the Sooners, considering since the introduction of Bob Stoops in 1998, they might have had one season where they have one season where they weren't picked at least second. Big
Probably
12.
that first year with Bomar and that bunch when they lost so many guys.
Okay, I was trying to think who, because Texas would have been resounding favorite that year. I'd be
Well, 2000 they weren't picked to do anything.
sure. Okay, so once the national championship was won, I can't think of a season other than, like you said, maybe that one where they weren't picked at least second. So this is uncharted territory. But one thing I'll take away from this team and kind of the introduction to the SEC is they have a massive difficulty level on their schedule, and home games. They open up SEC play at home against Tennessee on September 21st, and then you travel to Auburn, and then you've got a week off before the Red River rivalry. Um, there are people saying this could be a 6-7 team, or a six,
I know.
5 or 6 loss team at best. I think it's good for this squad to have that much doubt because in the past, I've always felt like just that automatic ranking of first or second in the Big 12 was kind of rat poison for this team and kind of contributed to some underachieving. I think it works out well for Brent Venables and this team. I'm not saying they're going to go out and do it, but as far as motivation goes and flying under the radar, this is a great time. One thing is, I wish that schedule wasn't backloaded.
Sure, yeah, at least you get Alabama at home, and they're kind of
But you're going to Columbia and Baton Rouge,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
saw you shake your head, and I get it, but I don't think this is our father's University of Missouri.
yeah. I get that, and we'll see. I'm just looking at Texas's football schedule, so
Oh yeah, you talk
you
about
know,
a great setup.
I mean, OU. I don't think they'll lose 7 games. You also have to look. Nobody looks at these things. They see the name on the side of the helmet. And they don't realize that LSU is replacing a bunch of guys. Their quarterback, bunch of guys on defense, bunch of guys on offense. Texas, hell, they're replacing everybody in the middle of their both lines. They're going to get
They got a lot.
run
I mean,
through at
Texas,
Michigan.
yeah, they'll that'll be a nut test for sure. I mean, they will find out real quick how their interior works in that one. But one thing about Texas is to me, I think Sarkeesian has probably figured out a little bit of that iron sharpens iron mentality that he picked up in Alabama. And I would bet, if I had to guess, that these replacements coming in are going to be a little sharper
Sure.
than what we've seen Texas, replacements before.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, that's right.
I'm not going to pick them. I'll say this. I'll say there's a likely chance Texas makes the playoff, if anything, because the media is willing it to them. But anyways, I think they've got a lot of things in place. I think that transfer receiver that they got from Alabama, um, can't remember the name, but is it It's not Isaiah Bond, is it? I think it is Isaiah Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could be a game changer for them. The thing, and then getting Georgia at home, that's pretty huge. I mean
Yeah,
that
but do you see what the week before the Georgia game is?
Let me grab that real quick.
It's the Oklahoma game. You don't even worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, they
So
go.
you go Michigan, and then you got UTSA and Louisiana Monroe. Then you got Mississippi State. You get the week off. Then you got the Red River rivalry, which I don't care what you say. No matter how good or how bad the team is, that's going to be a close game. Whoever's favored ain't going to win it
No,
because that's just kind of how it goes.
yeah,
And then you got to play Georgia. Oof,
yeah. That is
man.
a tough pull. They're back
Then they
in.
get a break with Vandy.
Yeah,
But they're back in though. They got to go to Fayetteville and
College
in
Station.
College Station, and that place is going to be awful,
Well,
awful, the most toxic environment I can imagine.
a lot of overalls.
Yes,
So, well, and that brings to mind what I kind of teased at a little bit ago on Mike Elko, the new head coach at Texas A&M. He got thrown back up in his grill that he had mentioned in a press conference before that Texas A&M is the flagship institution in the University of Texas. Here's the thing: they are a secondary recipient of the Puff Fund in the state of Texas. They don't get as much as UT, but they get a lot. And so, really, who's to say he can't come in there and make it so?
yeah. I mean, the only university of program I can think of that's not a flagship. Well, there's two of them: UC Berkeley and University of Ohio. Those are the only two I can think of that are not the flagships in their state.
As far as riddle
As
me
far
that.
as football, because you
Oh
got
yeah,
Ohio State, and Texas A&M. Come on, guys, Texas A&M really? They haven't won anything since 1939. I mean, Hitler hadn't even gone into Poland yet.
no. Well, and so you know, convince that to 13 million Aggie fans in the state of Texas,
And there was no integration in '39, so it doesn't count anyways, right?
buddy. You got it nail on the head. Just like all those Darrell Royal national titles, they don't count.
Daryl Roll.
He wasn't fully integrated yet.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, so and for those that might want to clip that, just in clarification, I espouse my opinion to Jeremy frequently that I don't count national championships before integration. So, um, hey, one thing I did notice, Sarkeesian, he comes in and he's how about the week that Nick Saban had? Because he's got two of his former assistants up there. Both are considered to be in the running for the SEC. And then he gets to lord over his replacement at Alabama for 3 days. So,
He gets the Lord over his replacement at Alabama 7 days a week. He's got an office in the facility.
well, he does, and apparently he plays a lot of golf. But once he gets off the links in the morning, he's tying up former assistants on the text threads and things like that. But
Sure.
uh, do you think he's going to be a benefit for the coverage this season and things like that?
Is he going to be on game day?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, he'll be. I mean, I does he have the personality? Probably, if he's not coaching, he's kind of like probably gonna be like Belichick, who's like kind of funny actually when he's not
Yeah,
coaching.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm sure he
they're
will. I
not.
mean, just think of the knowledge the guy has, and
Yeah. And here's the thing too with Saban, I don't have an issue. Oh wow. Somebody posted a picture of Joe Pesci and Macaulay Culkin on the scene on the set of Home Alone, and then a picture of Ed Orgeron and and Joe Burrow. Says all grown up.
nice.
So anyways, I think he'll take a chill pill as to what because the pressure of being a head coach at a major university and all of that standard that they have, it's tough. I think Bob Stoops liven up a little bit. Probably, I mean, here's the thing, Jeremy. Saban can't be any worse than Urban Meyer.
No, he can't. Urban Meyer was a pretty. That's a pretty low bar to clear.
Dan Narva mentioned the University of Pennsylvania, so no love for the
Okay.
Quakers.
Yeah.
No love for the
There you go.
Quakers being the flagship institution in the Keystone State.
Okay. Yeah, they're Ivy League though.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Anybody that's a Quaker should be Ivy League.
They're the flagship ship in basketball, right?
No, Penn State's been pretty competitive, haven't they?
Villanova's and
Oh yeah. Wildcats. But no, with Sarkisian and Saban, I thought it was pretty interesting, and I saw a clip about Sarkisian saying, Sarkisian's giving his address. Saban's sitting at the SEC media table, ESPN media table, turned around watching Sarkisian's address from a distance, and Sarkisian goes into a whole thank you and thanks for doing that. And then, did you see the clip of Lane Kiffin and Paul Feinbaum?
yeah.
Man, Kiffin's one of those guys that it's hard to tell if he's really butthurt or if he's just taking advantage of the awkward humor.
I think he was really butthurt.
Yeah, I mean,
It should have just gone into that whole Tosh.0 Lane. What was that Lane Kiffin call-in show I sent you?
Kiffin's corner.
Kiffin's corner. Yeah.
Don't say anything about my wife. No, actually, I think I retweeted it or maybe, but so Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin's got them pretty rolling. They're pretty happy with Jackson Dart and a lot of their weapons.
That's the one team on OU's schedule that I just that team they'll probably get beat by a couple scores by then. That's a really good football team, and he's done well in the transfer portal, and they already had a bunch of guys, and they just got better.
Yeah, like I said, that back half of you can't afford to slip up in those games against Tennessee and Auburn, and luckily the Tennessee game is in Norman. They go to the Plains, but and I don't think anybody's expecting anything out of Hugh Freeze this season. But it was interesting. I saw somebody timed all of the opening address remarks by each SEC coach. And Brent Venables was second from the last. And Hugh Freeze was the shortest address. So he's got the least amount to say about this season.
Yeah, I was very shocked that Venables was he didn't just grab the whole mic and go for an hour and a half.
Kind of like 45 did last night.
Sure.
Oh wow. Let's see. The Ranger Report podcast. That's our friend John.
Yes.
Yeah. They changed it up on me a little bit, but that's okay. We'll give. No, is that them? I don't think that's them.
So. Let me I have it. I follow them on YouTube. Hang on.
Yeah. Sure looks like their font. Eli Drinkwitz didn't catch much from
Dorkwitz.
I didn't catch much from his, but he did give a big endorsement that Mike Leach should be in the College Football Hall of Fame. He's just percentage points short of the threshold that they say of 60% win percentage, and I think Leach.
All we need are two games. I think it's 2 games that need to be vacated for him to get in.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't understand why there's a benchmark for coaches. That 600 winning percentage.
Yeah.
I mean, as a coordinator, he changed college football.
Oh, big time. And
I mean, it made it a lot more exciting, anyways.
I know that him and Hal Mummy were cohorts of the same vein, and he was an assistant for Mummy. But I mean, he took it so much further, and I mean, it just. You're talking about an entire state where football is everything, and he completely changed the narrative of how high school football would be played. I mean, his
Rangers Today baseball podcast.
Rangers Today baseball podcast. Okay.
Yes.
So, but with Mike Leach, just his coaching tree, his impact on the game, not just in this region, but nationally, but particularly in the state of Texas, because for 15 years after he took the Tech job, everybody ran spread.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just prevalent. So yeah, that's a silly deal. But I was happy that Drinkwitz kind of gave him a shout out there on that. And so really now SEC media days are over. Everybody's kind of said what they said. Uh, did you catch any of the Danny Stutzman clips?
I have not caught them yet. No.
It was interesting that I saw one clip where they asked him, who's the hardest running back to tackle. Um, he threw out the name of Mecca. I'm trying to think who was.
Oh, Emeka. Gosh.
I want to say Oklahoma.
Oh,
That's a basketball.
no. Owe.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't.
I think he settled on Tawi Walker, but he also gave shout out to Gavin Sawchuk and so. But no, it then also pretty interesting. Billy Bowman, who kudos to Billy Bowman for going and seemingly having a great media day presence because he's been snubbed on a lot of preseason teams.
And last year he had such a good season. He wasn't even on to watch the. He didn't even make the semifinals for the Butkus.
The Thorpe.
Oh, you're talking about Billy Bowman. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I'm
I
sorry.
spaced here for
I'm
a second.
sorry.
Yeah, Bowman. He had how many interceptions and tackles, and his
Yeah,
numbers were better than a lot of guys that made that final list, but he wasn't considered. I mean, we're talking about like game altering, huge plays, and this guy wasn't even considered. So, hopefully his
three pick
play
sixes
will,
on the season, and then
yeah.
here's the thing: this is going to be such an odd thing, and we'll wrap up SEC with a take on Oklahoma. And actually, after I say this, we might throw out some preliminary picks. But interesting,
Megwa,
Emeka Megwa.
yes.
Okay, I don't remember that guy honestly.
He's on the OU's roster, and yeah, he's the kid that transferred from Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know that he's still on the roster. Stutzman mentioned he'd had some injuries, so but
Hmm.
apparently he's a big legged running back. But no, with Bowman and Oklahoma, the secondary I think is considered one of the top two or three in the conference. The linebacker core could be ranked number one. Defensive lines got help. So this year will be funny in that basically a lot of these lowered expectations to me, Jeremy, are hinging on playmakers on the outside and quarterback play and well, just the offense, but particularly the offensive line. People are not
The,
buying in that Oklahoma will be able to do offensively what they've done.
and that was the point I was going to make. A lot of these are like, well, Oklahoma, this is where we have them, but if that offensive line gels and it's better than we think it's going to be, which it probably will be because the guys that they brought in are good football players. The
Mm-hmm.
kid from SMU, the kid from North Texas,
Yeah.
Spencer Brown from Michigan State. If he can get his footwork down, he's going to be just fine. If that line can be just decent,
Yeah.
they'll have a good season. If it could be better than decent, then they could have a really good season.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's the whole linchpin because they're loaded everywhere else. They're not going to lose games based on a lack of talent.
obviously, Andrell Anthony needs to stay healthy. Nick Anderson getting some preseason pub here and there, and then a breakout season from Jalil Farouk would be great. Um, the big kicker to the offense also is and I saw a quote that Jackson Arnold said he felt like in the bowl game that the offense wasn't really his yet, that he didn't, he was just kind of filling in still. That I can see a little bit of that. I go with I'm going to go with the concept, Jeremy, that basically Seth Luttrell wanted to see exactly what the kid could do with his arm. I mean,
Sure.
you hate to drop that game, but I mean, they didn't run the ball
Yeah.
very much against Arizona.
I think didn't Sawchuk have 100 yards in that game?
He might have, but I mean, when you're
Yeah.
late, you've got a lead, or I mean,
Yeah. And he wanted to see, mentality wise what he had with Arnold and
he
the
threw a
fact
lot.
that Arnold, huh?
He threw a lot of passes in that game. I mean,
Yeah.
it was an inordinate amount of passing.
But that's the thing is he never lost his resolve and he kept chucking them.
Oh yeah, yeah. The kid's
And I
fearless.
think that's all Latrell wanted to see what he had there because the issues that they had with the interceptions, those will work. He'll work those out. First start, good team that they're playing. They're decimated on the offensive line with opt outs. You okay there?
Sorry. Super 70 Sports has a picture of a clip from Lionel Richie's video of Hello, where the girl shows him the sculpture.
Uh-huh.
The quote says, "She's half your age, she's blind, and you're her teacher. And apparently you've been letting her palm your head for so long that now she thinks you look like Andre Dawson on steroids. Not cool, man."
Yeah, there was a whole group of songs there in the mid '80s. I'm on fire. Hello. What's
Our
that
second I'm
Journey
on
song?
fire rep, our second I'm on fire. Yeah, hey little girls, your daddy
And
home. That was cringy.
and then the Journey song about the having an affair with a 16-year-old. It's like you listen to them now, and it's
Which one was that?
uh
Stone in Love?
no, no, no. Uh, I have to look it up.
Yeah, because what was it?
She's just 16 years old.
Was that it? That was 80s.
No, that's not the title. Yeah,
Um, what was it?
let's see. Into the Night.
Into the Night.
It
No,
was from 1980.
that was Benny Mardones.
Oh, okay. Why did I think that was Journey for so
I
long?
saw. I
I'm
saw.
I'm kind of relieved it's not Journey.
Oh yeah. Uh, Usually, if Journey did anything about young love, it was trying to be perspective from a young man, also. So they
Just,
didn't go
just
quite
just
crazy.
don't mention ages. How about that?
The Benny Mardones song. Somebody made a TikTok video of it where a guy's singing it, and then a guy's in the studio listening to it, and then the guy in the
Yeah.
studio gets all cringed out. Starts out, she's just 16 years old. Leave her alone, they say. And it's like that guy's like, oh, it's like what?
What is this?
Yeah. Oh Lord. But all right, so SEC Media Days wrapped up, and were we paying any attention to any of the other media days? I think I snapshotted a picture. Let's see. So still some media days coming about. Mountain West already had theirs. ACC coming up July 22nd through 25th. Big Ten July 23rd through 25th. And the American Conference July 22nd and 23rd. The ACC, I
should
mean,
be a fun. Should be a fun week.
now, this is where I need help from you. Obviously.
Neil lozenge.
Yeah, a lozenge. I mean, it's really like Twitter universe is trying to will this Florida State Clemson thing to happen.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen?
To the Big 12?
Yeah.
Oh, can you see that? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, it makes as much sense as Central Florida.
Well,
are you
I
saying it
know,
doesn't
but
make sense for Clemson and
right, we're talking about two really, really, really good to great football programs are gonna just not go to the SEC
yeah.
and they're gonna go to the Big 12
I mean, is
with
Sankey set? Is Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, set on 16? Is he, I mean,
I don't know. I know Florida doesn't want Florida State. South Carolina probably doesn't want Clemson, but that'd be a really neat, interconference rivalry.
yeah.
Both of them.
Will people on EA 25 make it happen?
Oh, that's definitely going to happen on college football 25.
A lot
You
of
know that
people,
is. You know that is. I don't know. Does the Big 12's does their media grant a right package and the lack of a conference network and the fact that it just they're going to be kicking off at noon every week
yeah.
because those are two really good programs. Is that make it less attractive to them?
Yeah. I mean, noon at the central time is, well,
You
It's
already
early.
got BYU kicking off at 10 a.m. and you're going to have Utah kicking off at 10 a.m.
Yeah, but they're Mormons. They're up. They're up evangelizing
Okay,
early.
yeah, I don't know.
They've already gone
I
a couple
just
of neighborhoods on their bikes by then.
well, the problem with it is that we need to just get rid of this idea of conferences and just said these teams that are, you have this is your enrollment, this is your whatever. You need to come up with a list of stipulations that each program must meet and throw them all. And this is your Premier League model. And then if they don't meet a certain criteria, they get relegated down and with the group of five guys. And
Well, and it shows
because
that you've
this,
been off Twitter because I think I tagged you in a tweet yesterday about that very thing.
well, yeah,
I mean, it just
it,
it's been coming to this
you know
since.
the conferences make no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the SEC kind of makes sense because it's all kind of southeast. It's moving west, but it's the same region. But the Big 12, you got teams in the freaking Northeast. You got Orlando, the West Virginia. It's all over the place. The Big Ten's the same dang way.
Well, and the
Oh,
big
don't get me started on the ACC and Stanford. And is it Stanford and who else?
Stanford SMU,
Cal?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, big academic conference.
Well, you're in the Atlantic Coast Conference, but you're on the
You're on the Pacific
Pacific
Coast.
Coast.
Yeah, and it's just silliness. And then how ridiculous is it to look out there and see Washington State and Oregon State being the Pac-2?
Well, yeah. How are these two teams? I mean, they're not the greatest programs, but they're also not Group of Five pedigree.
No, no,
Washington State's played in Rose Bowls. They've had
yeah,
really good teams in the past.
Oregon
Oregon
State,
State's been a solid program, and
Oils,
nobody wants either one of them.
yeah, Oregon
Big
State.
12 should go after those two.
I, I mean, really, it, if if the Pac-2 now could really pull a media deal and cherry pick the burgeoning group of 5 teams that are west of the Rockies.
You're still not going to have names. You're going to have like Wyoming, Air Force, Colorado State, Fresno. You're not blowing my skirt up here, Chuck.
No, I get it, but it's
Your
just,
flagship schools are
I mean,
playing in Corvallis, Oregon, and
but it's like a restaurant. You got to open the door and serve some slop before.
I know.
I mean, how many times does something be all shimmery and shiny and then turn out to be a flop? But
Well,
I
I
get
mean,
what you're saying,
you're just going to rebrand the Mountain West, and it's just going to be the Mountain West.
and really, if all it's going to take to me is, and this is asking a lot. USC's, I think, on a downturn. UCLA can't seem to get it right. Oregon is about to just start funneling money after money after money in their NIL. So they're going to be making a big push. But
You Oklahoma fans are just so fixated on Lincoln Riley.
yeah, I mean it's still
I mean,
prevalent.
the Oklahoma program was nothing before he took over.
Yeah. Yeah, he totally got the
if you're not following what I'm putting down, the three honks that prop up Lincoln Riley in the USC program actually said this.
yeah. He's lost his luster quick there, and I don't see anything coming up that shows that he would have it returned.
Well, it was this show that started the ball rolling that Lincoln Riley was soft and the team had no nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, we were kind of spotting that early on, and and that
I think
just
I made some comments off the air that we cannot repeat on the air.
no, we would not do that. But and really his best team was kind of headed by a quarterback that probably, brought out some alpha male, some dog in the fellow players because I mean,
Talking about Baker.
yeah. I mean,
Jerry Schmidt was still in the program too.
yeah, that whole attitude that Baker brought to the table was nothing against Jalen Hurts or Kyler Murray, very talented quarterbacks, but
Also brought in under Stoops. Kyler
Sure.
Murray.
But I'm just saying that the braggadocio and the alpha male aspect of Baker served that team
Call it swagger, sir.
swagger.
Swagger.
So, anyways, as far as Oregon goes, I mean, nothing's going to happen to make them drop the payroll that they're going to get from the Big Ten. But
Well, they got that Nike money too.
if they ever got disenchanted and wanted to do something different, to just
I
start their own thing, and they would have had a perfect opportunity to tell USC and UCLA, "Now we're good. We're going to stay out here. We're going to be Oregon." But that's not how it works.
Yeah, and I think we're glossing over. We haven't glossed over. We failed to mention that the Oklahoma Sooners hired a salary cap guru
Yeah,
to head up the NIL
yeah.
in anticipation that these are all going to be capped, which is I mean it's pretty forward thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also it's getting worse, man.
Yeah,
It's getting worse.
it's going to be a contract deal. It's going to be a minor league. It's going to be Premier League. It's enjoy these days as it is, because it won't be this.
I almost prefer the days when boosters were handing out $500 handshakes, and Eric Dickerson received a gold Trans Am from Texas A&M and said
Didn't take it back.
thanks, and then went to SMU anyways.
Yeah. Hey, obviously, if you're busy again this weekend, it'll be tough to catch. But if I know you, you'll find your time. The Open going on at Royal Troon as we shift gears to golf, and the final major of the season. Correct?
Yes, and I've got it on in the background, and Tiger Woods has missed the cut, so I'm a little sad, but
Yeah. They teed off like at 4:30 our time, I think.
yeah, I wasn't up to watch that.
It was
Okay. So it's Jake Rosenberg and his consulting firm Athlete Group. So they snagged him from the Eagles and brought him over here to get our salary cap structure in order. Man, I just don't even. It's just too much.
yeah.
We have entered the realm of the absurd.
But here's the thing. I mean, is it going to be a deal where, um, ticket sales and merchandise sales are portioned out to the university, and boosters, all they do is fund the players? I mean, how's it going to work? Because
I don't have
if I'm
any
somebody,
idea.
if I'm somebody of means and I'm a graduate of the University of Oklahoma and I've been a consistent donor, if I'm funding, Andrell Anthony's campaign this season, I'm not giving to the biology department. I mean,
You're donating to the Dodge Charger for every player fund.
yeah. Did you hear Carson Beck's comment about his Lambo?
No.
Or he said something about, what was it? Let me find that. Basically kind of threw his teammates under the bus. Said something about, I'm not crazy, or I know how to drive, or something like that. It
Well,
was,
yeah. He's not on the UGA racing team.
yeah, something like that. See if I can find it. But anyways, I thought, wow, what what a push of the fellow teammates under the bus. See how that gets you through fall camp. But no, it's just one of those things, Jeremy, where to me, I look at it and say, this is what it's become. This is what you had to do once that football became the billion-dollar industry that it is, college football. And you just can't have all of the big salaries going just to the coaches anymore, the players. And therein lies the thing. Will we get to the point? And I know the NFL is nothing like the NBA in the fact that coaches and coordinators matter. But
Sure.
will we get to that point where universities look at something and say, well, we've got these kids. I know that they're recruited by the coaches, but it may not always be that way. And
No, you may just have your NIL guys be your recruiters.
I was going to say, and get them under contract. If you want to leave, you're going to pay. And so, could it be a situation where schools start looking at it and say, yeah, we've had this coach for 15 years, but, think about Iowa. If they start to suffer poorly, and, Kirk Ferentz is obviously weathered a lot of storms. What happens, if if the talent pool starts to, you know, starts to backlash against him, and they make a decision, we're getting rid of him to keep these players.
Yeah, I mean, he's been very successful there for Iowa. I can't remember the last time Iowa even won the Big Ten. Can you? Has
No,
Ferentz ever won the Big Ten?
no, I don't think so, because that team that he took to the Orange Bowl, I think they had one loss, and it was to Ohio State, because I think that was the year.
Of course. And that can't be a easy place to recruit to.
Yeah, they went to Orange Bowl and got hammered by Carson Palmer and the Trojans that year.
Yeah.
And
It just seems
that was
like
a
they
really
have
good Iowa team. That's probably the best Iowa team of that era. Uh,
who was on that team.
well, I mean, Dan already said Hayden Fry, mid '80s.
Yeah, Hayden Fry was
Yeah,
successful, but I think his coaching tree was far more successful than he ever was.
yeah, it seemed like, and as a kid, it just seemed like the Hayden Fry Bo Schembechler matchup was always slanted, to Michigan.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, Michigan, that's always been a big money program, just like Ohio State.
Dan Narvis says a fur coat or two was passed out at Michigan State back in the day. Woody Hayes noticed. Yeah, I'm sure.
Fur coat.
Guess what?
Lovely.
It got cold in Columbus too. So,
Yeah, true.
didn't Jamel Holloway show up in a fur coat one time?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think he probably borrowed Switzer's.
Yeah, there you go. Fur coat.
That's
The putty fur coat.
right.
Well, and exit question on all of this stuff is, we'll really, golf is a little too close in to have a lot of insight. And what Tiger was in a group with Xander Schauffele, wasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, and I think Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah, none of them are at the top of the leaderboard either.
Yeah. So looking at college football, it's going to be fun, but it's going to change, and I'm not the biggest on change anymore, but it is.
Yeah,
Give me something to watch on Saturdays.
if you're going to change it and you're going to cap it, good. That's fine. You're going to cap it. You can only make X amount of dollars from this. You can only make X amount of dollars from this. And get some rails on the dadgum transfer portal so we can actually have some continuity of roster from season to season. Incentivize these guys to play in bowl games.
Well,
or just do away with them altogether, because it's just turning into a second spring game.
Exactly. And that, to me, also, that's where I look at it as contracts. Okay, son, you signed a contract. You're receiving X amount of dollars to come to the University of Texas, Texas A&M University. If you decide you want to leave, that's fine. You'll return what money you had coming. If we pay you big time, if we advance you, because if you start seeing, and here's where it will change when money starts floating out the door.
See what a monster program A&M would be if they had that.
the lineman that left Alabama to go to Iowa and then went back to Bama. I mean, according to what I saw, he cleaned up both places.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you get kids on the hook taking millions of dollars and not ever playing it down,
just the character.
That'll be the guardrails that come up that Lincoln Riley advised us we needed.
Oh God,
that
guy.
Hey, Ronnie James got 2 games in double figures in summer league, so apparently he just
look at that.
He needed to get in Vegas to shine.
Yeah, we might as well just install him in the starting lineup and hand him the Larry O'Brien trophy. Where's the Basketball Hall of Fame?
Springfield.
Yep, just go ahead and get that bust ready.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, and I say that a lot, but here's the thing. He's 6'1".
I know.
You're not going to.
I mean, and he's playing against a bunch of guys who are going to be playing in Europe this time next year.
Head to Lithuania, son.
Yep.
Here it's great this time of year. But hey, speaking of golf, also I signed up on a deal at the one of the local courses that I play frequently, and $100 for the month, and I can play as much as I want.
Oh, man, that must be nice.
I gotta say, that has been one of the big benefits of retirement. I'll say that, is having the time to go do that. But
Yeah, yeah. By the time I'm retired, I'm not even gonna want to play golf anymore.
yeah, I
Because I
mean,
can't even get out there.
we got to get you out there. That's for
I
sure.
know.
Hey, bud, we're gonna get out of here. So, big weekend coming up for you, or just chilling?
I've got the wife's birthday tomorrow, so we'll see what she wants to do with that.
Okay, have
And
a crappy weekend. Hope your house burns down.
Oh, Carl, man.
oh, Carl.
All right. Well, and that's the thing about it, is this weather is just outstanding. I mean, right now, I
Oh, I
stepped
know.
out this morning and was like, this is beautiful. I'll actually be in Sayre, Oklahoma tomorrow, playing in a scramble there with our friend Max Patton, who does check in on the show from time to time, and we appreciate him. But I'm going to be out in Western Oklahoma trying to navigate Sayre National. What do you got?
Antonio Brown nominated Shane Gillis as Cracker of the Day, and Shane Gillis retweeted it with a thank you. Just thank you.
And did you ever check out that show that Gillis has on Netflix that I mentioned?
Tires, no, I
Tires.
haven't. I didn't watch it, but I did watch Kill Tony uh, when him and Adam Ray did Trump and Biden. And I'm just telling you, Gillis does Trump better than Trump does Trump.
Better than Brian Austin Johnson or whatever?
Oh, is it's spot on.
Wow. I'll have to
You
check that
need to,
out.
yeah. He does Trump better than Trump does himself.
The guy that does it for Saturday Night Live, is it Austin John?
Yeah,
Brian?
he's pretty good.
He has little segments where his
Yeah,
voice is just replicated as Trump, but then he kind of falls out of it. So there's
yeah.
kind of a little horse throat, little phlegmy type
If I
sound.
can find the Kill Tony link, I'll send it to you.
I'll
But
pick,
that
yeah, I'll pick it.
it's so good.
Listen, let's get out of here. This has been the Weekend Big Show. He's Jeremy Schroeder. I'm Chuck Ramsey. And we are also streaming live on YouTube, on Facebook. You can catch that clip, or you can go to our YouTube page at Law Dog Sports. Please, 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 please subscribe, as we're trying to build more and more subscribers to the YouTube page. And then also you can listen to us in podcast form on SoundCloud, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So a lot of ways you can catch us. You can find links to all that and also listen to episodes at our website, lawdogsports.com. For myself and Jeremy Schroeder, be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we'll talk to you next week. Be safe.